Low tape speed. What is it and why does it matter? Let's get into it. Here's a drum break that I just recorded on that drum set over there, being processed through my tape machine at the highest speed that the tape will spin. Now we're gonna turn the tape speed down, flip this little switch up here, and let's do it again. That right there is the essence of the new drum break pack, Low Tape. If you're watching this video, that means the pack is out right now. But at the time of recording this, I have one more drum break left to add to this pack. So let's go behind the kit and let's make it. All right, so here we are at the kit. I have my 1980s Router kit up. This is a made in Japan kit and the sizes are quite big. It's a 22 by 14, 13-inch tom and a 16-inch floor tom, all right? A lot bigger sizes than what I usually use. I've also got the Evans Calf Tone 56 heads on the toms and the kick as well. Evans UV1 head on the Acrolite snare, ProMark sticks, the Larnell Lewis joints, Zildjian Karope 15-inch hats. One of the things that I've been enjoying lately is this new product by Tandem Drums, and they're literally just called drops. Y'all see that in the close-up? These things actually fasten on to the tension rods. They stay put on the drums. They come in different sizes and different weights, and literally what they do is just dampen off the drum, but they don't stick to the head. They actually sit like a wallet would on a drum. What it allows you to do is to go from a tone like this and you literally just take one or two of them, fasten them onto the snare drum like this, and you instantly get the tone you're looking for. All right, let's play this break. I'm gonna play it nice and sloppy, play flat-footed to not get too much oomph on the kick drum, because I'm gonna bring it out later with the mics. All right, man, so we're back at the desk. Let's just see what the raw drums sound like. No processing, just drums, mics, preamps, Logic. It's pretty dope, honestly, man, but let me work my magic a little bit. Let's see what we can get into. So I worked my magic a little bit, and now we have something that sounds like a real vintage drum break, man. Okay then, let's dig in. Got me excited a little bit. Let's dig in to exactly what we're doing here. Let's just go over the individual mic channels, all right? And I'm gonna list them down below. All right, so let's go over the reverb sound, man. Rev Spring 636 by Arturia. Less of the boingy thing that you hear on a lot of surf rock records. It's more of a darker sound. Check it out. I've got that on a bus, and right now I'm just sending the entire mix to the bus, right? Here it is off. Now you notice I don't have that spring reverb on the top snare mic or anything to do with the snare drum. The snare is actually just the loudest thing in the break right now. So by default, the spring reverb is catching mostly that snare drum, which is exactly the way I want it. While we're here, let's try out a couple of different spring reverbs in that channel. I'm gonna bring them up on the screen. Y'all can screenshot them, y'all can screen grab them if you want to. I keep a bunch of them on hand whenever I'm making packs. So actually, man, that's the beauty of keeping all those Spring Reverb plugins handy. I actually changed what I want to use in this break, man. So we can't really go any further in talking about this one break without talking about the star of the show, which is the tape machine. That's why I'm calling this pack low tape breaks, because every single drum break in this pack is getting ran through that tape machine at a low speed instead of a high speed. You get a different low fidelity tone. I know everybody loves to overuse that word, but it really is a low fidelity tone that you cannot replicate without the hardware, man. Let's just real quick play the drum break without the tape machine at all. Through the tape machine at a low tape speed. And real quick, I'm going to show you what it sounds like running through the tape machine at its normal high speed. Then again, running it at 3 3/4 speed with this little EQ knob adjusted down here, that is where the magic happens, man. So we need to add a little bit of high end. Two things that I like to sort of vintageify my breaks with. A lot of the old breaks, they come from high fidelity systems, even though it was low fidelity recording and low fidelity mixing sometimes, right? It's coming from an actual vinyl system where a lot of these old breaks come from. So I like to replicate that with two plugins. One is the Abbey Road Vinyl by Waves. Right after that is the Dirty Filter by Bedroom Producers Blog. If you know me or you know any of my videos, you know I have relentlessly talked about this plugin for years, like since maybe even since 2019, depending on how much of my content that you've stalked me online watching. Close that reverb tab. Listen to what happens to the high end when I turn on the Abbey Road Vinyl and the Dirty Filter, all right? It's just that little bit of lift, man. I can't explain what it does. Maybe some audiophile scientifically could tell me what it does, but honestly, I just love the way that that sounds, and I've always loved the way that old breaks sound, so I found two plugins that really kind of help me in the absolute last stages of mixing to get it there. Now, another thing that I've been doing lately is actually pitching down my breaks. I just like the way it sounds, man. I've found that with DJing a lot more around Tampa, and hopefully outside of Tampa, hit me up, especially playing with records, when you want a record to go slower, you can't make the record spin slower without actually pitching the record down. So a lot of these drum breaks that have circulated their way around hip hop culture in the last 30, 40, 50 years, Jesus, they just come from records being literally pitched down. So I'm replicating the same thing with my favorite pitch shifting plugin of all time. No, it's not the Sound Toys joint. No, it's not whatever you think your favorite pitch shifting plugin is. Bruh, if you have an Apple computer, you have the best pitch shifting plugin on the market, the cleanest for drums at least. It's literally the AU Pitch. It's so simple. It is the cleanest for pitch shifting drums. I know some Ableton wizard in the comments is gonna be like, actually, if you take the drum rack and you assign a modulator to the relative pitch of the kit, I don't care. I love how Ableton users and Reaper users and Cubase users always catch strays in my videos. Sorry. The AU Pitch, it's free with any Apple computer. Here's the drum break without it. Those transients are still intact, man. The kick and the snare are still hitting very, very hard. There's not a lot of pitch shifting plugins on the market that can really do it that well. I'm looking at you, Sound Toys. Why am I way too many stray shots in this video? Last thing, I gotta shout out my guy Decap. I was actually the first person other than Decap to use the knock plugin, man. He sent it to me way before he even put it out, and it has never left my master channel since, honestly. Also, another little trivia tidbit. If you have drums that knock 10 DTK-X, a lot of the drum breaks in that pack were actually played and recorded by me here in this very studio, mixed by Decap himself. We linked up back in 2020, and I ended up playing and recording a lot of the drum breaks for that pack. Little piece of drum break hip-hop lore there. So, I'm gonna bring up a metering plugin. We're just gonna measure the level that the drum break is hitting at without the knock plugin. So as you can see, we are hitting at 0 dB, which is a no-no, in the red, as they say. You don't actually want to do that, because once you export these drum breaks and people use them in their beats and win Grammys with them and make diamond records with them, they're not actually going to be able to mix these breaks because they're already hitting at 0 dB. You have no more headroom to mix the drums. What I use the knock plugin for is this thing over here, the soft clipper. Just a little bit of soft clipping. It actually shaves off the sharp edges of those kicks and snare points. It shaves off those transients to where they don't actually hit above 0. So you can use the knock plugin to shave off the transients, and at the same time you keep your perceived loudness. So let's look at the meter one more time without the knock plugin, right? Now, with the knock plugin turned on, we're getting the same perceived loudness, as in the drum break sounds just as loud as before, but it's gonna hit under 0. Check it out. I know that soft clipping is like the big buzzword in music production from like 2022 up until present day, but soft clipping really does a wonder for your drums, especially with my drum breaks, and that Decap knock plugin, man, is a gem. All right, so I've done enough yapping. We're actually gonna send this drum break out through the tape machine into its own wave file. Despicable, man. Godless. If you've been tuned into any of my packs post-studio rebuild, if you don't know, my house flooded September last year. Just got the studio rebuilt about 5 months ago, depending on when you're watching this video. If you don't know, and you haven't been tapped into my more recent packs, I offer alternate mixes with every single one of the drum breaks. So it's double the amount of drum breaks in this pack, right? We're only gonna use the farther away mics. The stereo overhead, the mono overhead, the shoulder mic, which is literally at my shoulder over here, and the crush mic, which is at my knee just above the kick drum. That's way more of a vintage setup than using an actual kick drum mic and an actual snare drum mic and an actual hi-hat mic. So what you get is a little bit of a softer sound around the transients. The kick and snare sound the same, but they don't hit as hard. You get overall just a more vintage tone. So let's hear how that sounds. So I'm gonna draw a little bit more of the low end out of that shoulder mic to get the kick drum to bark a little bit. We're gonna print that out through the tape now as the alternate mix. All right, man, so just to recap, let's go over what the raw drums sound like. The raw drums, completely unmixed, zero effects processing. Now, you guys are going to get those in the pack. The raw stems are going to be included with the pack, but the full mix of the drum break sounds like this. And the actual bonus one shots that I just made for this pack, you're gonna be able to load them up in whatever sampler you want, like Machine. My goodness, man. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up for me. Low Tape is out right now. leftfielddrumbreaks.com. You can find the pack Low Tape. 72 different drum breaks all ran through that tape machine at low speeds. All original drum breaks made completely from scratch on real drums. There is no recycled material, man. Actually, you know what? Look at me. I don't even recycle my own source material, let alone anyone else's source material, all right? Every single sound in this pack and all 42 drum break packs on leftfielddrumbreaks.com are completely original, 100% a one-of-one sound. 1,700 drum breaks in total on the site and about 1,800 different one-shots in total on the site, all a one-of-one sound. They have never existed anywhere else before my packs. That is what I guarantee you when you shop on leftfielddrumbreaks.com. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. Y'all have pretty much allowed me to do this almost for a living, man, and I sincerely appreciate that. Yeah, tap in with me. Low Tape is out now. Go get that.